I started through my home university at the University of North Florida, and I was interested in entrepreneurship, and my home university partnered with the EBS system in both London and in Paris to form a global entrepreneurship MBA. And they gave us the choice of between Paris and Madrid for the EBS programs, and I just chose Paris because who wouldn't want to live in Paris? And the EBS school system is known as a pretty good system, so came here to take the classes I needed to get the degree. The classes are great. It's really a lot of, they put a lot on the student to figure out on their own, which I think is good, and it's better for a master's program rather than a teacher just playing God at the front of the room all day. The difference, I guess, the main thing that's harder for a U.S. student coming over is the scheduling. The first day of classes in the U.S., you know when every class is going to be, when every test is going to be, when your exams are going to be for the entire semester. And here it's a little different, which I guess is kind of more how a company would operate, where it's you don't really know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. But it's been good. The students are great to work with, and it's a very group project focused rather than just individual. Right now we're doing in a class for designing the future of international business, we're doing a group project kind of workshop session about the future of PSA. So we're making actually a magazine article. We did one for, a fake Harvard Business Review article for where PSA is going to be in the year 2020 and actions they can take to become a much more competitive brand in the global atmosphere rather than just in being a classic French brand. Here it's much more grades focused on 1 or 2 projects, where in the US you have 3 exams and 2 or 3 projects, so it's kind of dispersed over the whole semester rather than kind of everything at the end or everything at the middle, which is how this is actually how American, the bachelor's degree is, and then the master's, they kind of refine it and spread it out a little more. It's really nice, it's modern, it's small, but that's, that's the U.S. and the American in me talking, where everything's twice as big. In America we have 4 of these buildings for probably half the students. But it's a really beautiful campus, really nice new facilities. Obviously, I live in Saint Germain for the semester, so I can walk here if necessary. It's close to everything you need, and you get a view of the Eiffel Tower when you're leaving. It's not too bad. It's pretty relaxed. In the U.S., you'd call it, I guess, island time. Everyone's on island time, where it's very different than America, where it's, you work 12, 14 hours a day. You don't, you kind of look down on people who relax too much, where, but a big reason that I'm over in Europe at EBS is because not all of us think that way. And so it's nice to live the French life a little bit and enjoy good food and enjoy people's company and enjoy traveling around Europe on weekends and, just a little more relaxed atmosphere, and the French life I could fit into it well. I just needed to speak better French. In America, you hear how rude Parisians are going to be, and it's not that way at all. Americans are way more rude than Parisians have been, in my opinion, and it's much more, the entire campus and the entire French culture has been much more welcoming than maybe you hear from even French people. Sometimes they're like, oh, how are people in Paris? They're rude, and it's not the case at all. And I guess that's partially surprising. Another surprising is how laid back and much more calm everything is here. Even though you're doing the same amount of work, the sense of accomplishment is slightly different because you're not completely stressed and geared up the entire time. So those are 2 really surprises of just being much more comfortable than I think I thought I would be. More so than, EBS London was a great experience, but that was a go, go, go every day kind of craziness too. So it's been nice to have a kind of, for a last semester, sit back and really reflect on how the whole master's has been, and it's kind of the cherry on top, as they'd say. I would say come here with an open mind for students, because it's going to be different than your normal home institution. It's a little more relaxed way of doing things, but it's still the same amount of work. It's a hard workload. It's a difficult workload, but it's much more is on your shoulders to handle it. And I think that's better, because I worked for 5 years before coming back to get my degree. So it's much more how the real world works, where it's much more on you, and nobody's gonna help you along and hold your hand. And that's how it is here. It's much more, it's up to you to finish the work and do the work and provide quality work.